by Intel, Vodafone, The Road to Odense, Betway, MSI, Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
Not often in my life will I say these words, but Hugo was right. In fact, he was so right that this one has already begun to topple in the way of Astralis. A 1-0 so far to kick off these two best of ones and train heavily handedly going in their favor. Got so much to their point that, well, Magisk was able to pull out the AUG and basically meme through the first half of Counter-Strike. Chad, tell me, as we stand here in the esports arena, what exactly just happened to Big?
The esports arena, the Intel esports arena. We're at the top of the mountain, but only halfway there. I think a couple of things we have to look at is the fact that that first half can be broken down. The first 7 rounds, if you're watching this, you're going, Big are playing quite well. You know, obviously they lost that force by round early, but it's a back and forth affair. They're able to convert and make it look pretty, right? They felt like they won that force by game. You flick onto round number 7, the saved or the AWP on device, that opening kill, they pick up that AWP, the scout, you know, the deagle kills of Magic's boy, and then from there, what you're talking about really just started to unfold. It's not disrespect, but the fact of buying an AUG and playing looser, playing outside of the normal Astralis way is what we did see unfold here. And what I mean by that is, when they're playing on LAN, when they're playing in that environment that's hype as hell, right, and that they can stay control those emotions, they're very disciplined. Right? They're very, very disciplined. But in this environment, they're a little bit more loosey-goosey.
But, I mean, you talk about that discipline. We even saw instances here where maybe lower inner smoked. You don't see them hard charging through it to try to get that frag and maybe open the bomb site on their T sides. They say, you know what, we're backing out of here. There's no point in pushing this. There's no reason to push this past where we need to.
Yeah.
Discipline.
Well, they're still making the right decisions, like within their fundamentals of Counter-Strike, and you'd see towards the end there, those last couple gun rounds, they pulled their socks up just to close it out, because they did allow Big a chance to get back into the game. But I think what I mean is, like, they'll maybe do some things either a little bit more unorthodox to what they normally would, or they'd play just a little bit differently. And I think that was reflected in this game, especially with the AUG, man. Like, we don't see that come out because, first of all, it's not that much better, if better at all, than the M4 or the AK, like same as the Krieg debate, right, that we have. So for him to bring that out, he's just, Glaive was AWPing at some point, right? Obviously, he's carried that through after picking it up. It's still, you know, one of these things you look at and you go, what is Glaive even the secondary AWPer for this team? It's Dupree. So just kind of mixing things up, being a little bit different, harder to read for Big. Because we did see at the major, Liquid counter-stratted Astralis, but when they met again in that semi-final matchup, they tried to counter-strat Astralis again, and then they played loose in the very beginning. So similar remnants here in this kind of game.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess for what it's worth, let's maybe look at some numbers here from the Astralis side. And Magisk, like I said, was straight styling on these guys with 27 and 13 KD, which rolls him in at a roughly 114.2 ADR. An absolute pain train, one might say.
If you want to talk more about numbers, if you look from the 7th round onwards, I'm pretty sure there was only 1 opening kill found on the T side of Big, right? From the 7th round, they only found 1 opening kill, which means on the T side, it's much more difficult to open up. If you're not having free numbers to work with, you're losing a player to a pick, or when you're entering a bomb site, you're getting multi-fragged out. That means that one or two things is happening. The players from Astralis are either just roaming around and picking you off, or they're standing up as individuals, and they're really putting up, normally, which would be traded 1-for-1 at top level Counter-Strike, they're getting 2-3 kills, and that's really just locking down bomb sites. So you have to think about those factors. I think there were only 2 rounds from that, I think the score was 4-3, that point onwards, that were even remotely competitive.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was the last round where Gob had the UMP, and there was another round in the middle there where it was back and forth, but Astralis still came out on top.
That seemingly is a storyline every single time we hear of these guys playing. In fact, we do have yet another map, and to be fair, it is the very last map here of the evening of Big Astralis. It's a good note to end on, I suppose. We're going to be seeing something different. Chad, you know where we're going?
We're going to Inferno.
He does. The man knows. We're going to Inferno between Big and Astralis next, and perhaps we can make a better storyline here to understand. But first, I'm going to have to plague you for a B-Stream update.
Oh, well, I just had that ready and ready to go. NIP started Cage down to Ago, but now they're winning 11-9 on the second half. They're now on the T side, so this is going to be a close one on that secondary stream. So really look out for this because NIP need to break the drought. They need to win. Yesterday they went 0-4.
Yeah, a rough start. And we talked about maybe not so much serious implications in these early matches in the season.
It is serious.
But you have to sit there and say it's serious. It's much more important for you to start the season strong, perhaps not looking at the hindsight of it and having to bounce back between maybe this team wins and we lose. You find yourself in some sort of weird tie scenario.
Yeah.
And that alone is something that you want to avoid. I believe is simply put. Either way, yes, we're going to be switching pages now to Inferno, where in which is there anything that can make a little bit more sense here for Big?
This is a map that can get a little bit strugglesome for Astralis. There's lots of things, because I've watched a lot of Astralis Counter-Strike recently. So if I was Big, I would definitely have these things worked out as well. The fact that they like to rotate that AWP around on device on the CT side is something to make sure that you are aware of. On that T side as well, the way that they like to get banana control is the best spawn out of device, and Magic's Boy will push on in and extinguish your Molotov. There's ways to deal with that. There's ways to kind of stifle that approach, but it's not an easy one to do. Then if you look at Big, historically, obviously I brought up what happened last year with that jump, but I don't think that'll be happening again. I think that's obviously been removed from the game. But they always had some cool T-sided executes. So those are a couple of pivot points to look at. But look, at that A bomb site, it's a scary place to go if you are a player from Big. It's such a blender over there with the star power, Magic's Boy, Dupree, and old mate Device residing at that A bomb site.
How about old mate Smooya and some guys that say mate probably way too much for their own good would be these two that we have now, as you can see in the studio here. It is a birthday boy and his friend Harry, yet again, bringing them back for old time's sake. Guys, we have one more map. Are you holding up for this one?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited.
Hold up a second, I'm banning this. There's a new rule.
There's a new rule. This is the rule.
Head
Head over to msi.com/2/best offer. Go over there and pick up some hardware. You might even get one of these. Chad, move this junk.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Get this junk out of here.
We gotta know, we're moving it.
Look at this. My goodness, you see that?
It's got lights and stuff.
It excels.
Yeah.
Only at MSI.
Here's my point before we get on a tangent too much here. Harry, you can't be excited about every game.
I'm just excited about anything Counter-Strike, Chad. I mean, I thought you of all people would understand.
I like good Counter-Strike, but we didn't get it in that first map.
Okay, no, I'll give you that, right? It did feel like a lot of a slog, especially from Big, right? It never really... it was a 16-9, but it didn't feel like a 16-9, right? It felt like Astralis were outclassing them constantly. So, I mean, heading into this one, in my mind, I always think back to that game at Cologne, you know, if you remember, right at the end of the group stages versus MIBR, and Big were able to win that out on Inferno, right? And it was like a good performance from players like Smooya, stuff like that, stepping up. Maybe if we see a bit more of that, they could cause some chaos here with Astralis. I just think that Astralis on Inferno is so good, right? This was like one of the maps where we really start to see like there was all that nade domination. I feel like Inferno really kind of set the precedent for them, their utility. And also Device is so strong at just being able to, like lock down for like Banana, for example. You can just leave him there all day long and then it frees up so much room over towards A.
And one thing we do have to look at, I mean, he talks about utility. How about we talk about the smoke utilization from Astralis over on their CT sides in this map, Chad?
It's the fact that they know of what pacing you're rocking with, that they can hold on to it. And the reason they can do that is because they're mechanically sound as well as disciplined in that use of utility. So if they know you want to wait out, they know you want to go a slower style, they'll hold on to those smokes until the dying moments, and that gets real rough.
Real rough and tough, just like Harry and Hugo like to do it in their own pacing here as they bring you all of this action here at the Intel Esports Arena. Of course, we're going to be going to this next matchup, the final matchup on D Inferno with Big and Astralis. Let's see what Harry can have fall out of his mouth this time around.
Yeah, a game hopefully as jazzy as Harry's shirt in this matchup. Big versus Astralis, and final map of the night, Harry. It's been a long day, but we've been far more invigorated than yesterday. You know, we had our beauty sleep, and I think. No, obviously, I know you're excited. You're always excited.
I'm always excited. Hugo, truer words could not be said. But we're about to head into this one. It is Inferno. It's the classic. Interesting enough, is this the first Inferno game that we've seen on?
Yes.
Yeah, which is mental when you think about how much it's played. And here on the main stream, all we've seen so far, it feels like it's Train, Mirage, Dust and Overpass. Yeah, you know, it's been a real fun one. We finally get to see some Inferno. Been a little while for us here, and the pistol around Hugo is already underway.
Oh, Smooya, he's gonna bite off more than he can chew, and Bullet goes straight into his gob. Tabson, he's the one hiding on the back of the sandbags, but they're gonna walk right past. Sitnix turns back around, lucky for him, but it's a bit too late. Tabson's found 2 kills, and Device is at least gonna be there to trade, but it means it's back into a 2-on-2 and a round that was favored heavily towards Astralis after those early 2 picks up Banana. Getting into their post plants now. Device and Magisk up against Nex and God B, and the retake is on.
Yeah, still this crossfire set up between Magisk and Device. Certainly not an easy one to try and overcome. They're double peeking into these fights. Device just baiting. Magisk gonna fall, and the idea was the bait and switch, but now Device has to try and step up all on his lonesome, and Nex is there. Does manage to find us, so the pistol round goes the way of Big, which over on this CT side, potentially going to be kickstarting this with 3-0 lead. That's going to be them getting a couple of early rounds in potentially, and also I think more importantly denying Astralis that kind of ability to hit the ground running, start setting the pace here on the T side, getting the 3 free rounds and really making them have to grind into that in the rifles. I say 3-0, I meant 2-0 lead because the bomb went down. But you never know. Maybe Astralis go for a buy here, although they're very methodical. They don't like taking risks like that. I think the Danes have figured out, why bother? Why bother with calculated risks when you can just play the numbers game, play the certainty?
Yeah. And I mean, again, thinking back to that previous map, yes, they didn't get the bomb down and the pistol, but Astralis, they were on the CT side, obviously, but they won the second round after losing pistol and bounced back instantly. So that definitely is a worry when it comes to these kind of starts for Big. It may be good, but they have to make sure they actually pick up a couple of rifle rounds from it. Otherwise, we could see another bit of a decimation like that previous map. Smooya down a banana this time, not going to get pressured early on. Instead, he's the one putting on the pressure. Dink, though, down. Does some damage from it, but the smoke should be able to help him get out of position. He's got to wait just to see if Astralis spray. Spam the pistols. Make sure he's not retreating, because they already know they did dink him down low. He's going to commit to this angle. That's very, very ballsy. B's even going to get dinked in the meantime up on A short. So, I mean, this is not a round that Astralis should ever be winning. So the fact that they've already found 2 dinks is slightly worrying, but let's see if anything comes of it. More nades down banana. Tizian just trying to take the attention away from Smooya, but he's not going to be able to. Glaive's already found that frag. They've got an SMG now to play with, but man advantage, it shouldn't be a worry for Big, but I'm not going to lie. I'm getting worried.
Yeah, this was meant to be an easy free round. There was only PT50s invested, and I mean, I think rightfully so. You always get worried. The second Astralis find anything, give them an inch, they'll take a mile. They'll take more than a mile. But Tabson, he's certainly racking up some mileage of his own. Oh, Glaive going to find him at the very least. There's only 15 seconds. Glaive, at this point, probably wants to go down, and indeed he does. So next, going to go ahead and dispatch of him. Big up 2-0 now. But Easy Street is officially over. Even though that round came a little bit down to the wire, it was just pistols and vest. Not down to the wire, but it certainly didn't feel as comfortable as it should have. And now the buy is going to be coming in for the Danes.
Yeah, 3 kills in that one. It's going to mean that Big need to be careful with their money here. Don't want to get reset going into the first buy round. Actually gone for the early quad B stack. Not too common. You see triple Bs with utility, but quad B, now this is something else. They may be waiting for an early fast play for Astralis. That won't be the case. Blanket Molotovs all over banana. Dupree's actually killed the lone A player. Device has dropped another man down on B. So Big, they're probably wondering, where the hell do we rotate? Or should we be going A? Do we commit with a triple B here? And I think that'll probably be the safest play, because Astralis are already up on this A site. If Big committed to 3B, they could either save if they were wrong, or commit to a fight if Astralis did hit their site. But for now, it is the wrong call to make. That solo stack has opened up the A bomb site for Astralis to run wild over, and they've realized pretty quickly that this is all open for taking.
Yeah, so Astralis moving very, very swiftly onto their first round here, hitting that ground running. And, kind of trying to set a bit of a precedent, perhaps. But 3 players surviving here for Big does at least mean that they can invest into this next round. B can go and drop something over. Smooth's got a little bit of money in the bank as well. Tizian can be around to help out. And Astralis, they're keen on going hunting a little bit. They don't want to throw too much away. They want to start to build up some money of their own, start to get that buffer building up, because they know a win in this following round resets Big. And that's how you start to snowball out of control. That's how you kind of start to accrue a bunch of rounds over on the T side. But 5 players surviving, money made. Now we see the economic situation for Big. B can throw an M4 over, and then we can have another one. Another little something dropped by Tizian, so they will be fielding a buy.
Again, the triple B stack. Big have at least reduced 1 player off of this side of the map after the previous mistakes, but Tizian, I mean, that's a mistake. He runs through a Molotov, and he's going to get completely overrun by Device. Tag down low, yes, but it's still a free kill for Astralis. It's untraded. That's very close. B hits a shot. Big at least put it back into a 4-on-4, but in the meantime, the A site is starting to be rumbled by Astralis. The footsteps, the trampling, the elephants are all here. And Tabson, he hasn't got his tranquilizer dart. He's already been removed. Zipnix follows up to Nex, and 2 more players left on Big, but both of them on the wrong side of the map.
Yeah, they They're going to be able to find Zipnix, but yeah, looking to try and save once again. Already, Astralis caught up fully, back to 2-2. Taking a look at this scoreboard, though. Can't see thus far. Over on the side of Big, it has mostly been Nex and Tizian putting up numbers, and Astralis haven't really had to do all too much fragging in that regard. They've only been finding what? I mean, previous round they got 2 kills, this round they get 3, and immediately, you know, Inferno is very much like this on the CT side. You know, you can just have a few people who very rarely even get to see a fight, and they spend the whole game saving. That's just because of how long these rotations are. Rotations are king on this map. Big have been caught off guard twice now at such a blistering pace that they haven't really been able to have anyone in position to go for a rotate.
I mean, it's not even been the pace. It's been positioning on the wrong side of the map every time, right? Big have shown these heavy nades down banana, and the thing is, it's all good to, you know, go for a triple or a quad nade down banana, but if you do it and Astralis see 3 or 4 nades come down, they'll just go, okay, let's just rush A because B is stacked. And that has just been the case for Astralis. They've either been getting the pick on A and just, you know, committing off the back of it, or seeing all these nades down on B. So hopefully we're going to see a bit of a change up now and Big stop going for that. In fact, this is already a better start, a 1-for-1. However, not the best, but they don't exactly have the rifles to contend with Astralis in this round. Tizian, nice off angle, but he won't get the kill from it. Half damage to device, traded back. Zipnix catches a rotation down second mid, and another round to Astralis, almost guaranteed here. It's not a worry, though. It's only pistols for the Germans.
Yeah, I mean, the thing for me about Astralis on the map, they always just look so clinical. Like, I mean, I think this is one especially where you can really put some of the angles and ideas these guys run into such good practice, thanks to those like long rotation times, how positioning plays into everything so much. And exactly as you're saying, right? They always seem to be ready to, in the blink of an eye, off the very limited amount of information that these guys. Well, I mean, they get an abundance of information in comparison to other teams, right? But like out of the little hints that these guys get, they'll make these snap decisions and then act on the back of it. And you see everyone is dedicated to the call fully. There's never any doubt of the stuff that Glaive is dishing out in terms of the orders.
Astralis are just always so prepared in terms of knowing how their enemies are going to be positioned, right? If they spot one player in a certain position, they can go, okay, this team is running this setup that they usually like to do. You know, we see a triple B, so that means these A players will be here, and that's shown well by the utility usage, for example, right? The amount of double nades or triple nades that we see from Astralis that connect onto players in positions that you wouldn't typically nade is just down to Astralis doing their research and knowing, okay, if this player's here, that player will be there. And that definitely shows, and that's always nice to see. Smooya going for the B spawn. He's got the AWP. Maybe he'll peek down banana with this one. Device doesn't have an AWP to challenge back just yet for Astralis, but the Molotov will keep Smooya at bay on the corner, but he wasn't willing to go for that peek anyway after the banana control that's been so favorable for Astralis so far this half. Instead, they're going to give up on B, and look how deep they already are in the apps. This is a recipe for disaster for Big, who don't have any information. Godby's got his back turned to the balcony. This could all get very, very hot and heavy.
Yeah, most definitely could. Zipnix barreling on in and, you know, soaring through the air like some sort of eagle. He's able to swoop on down and find one. Dupree there to go ahead and extend that man advantage even more. Hiding in this smoke going to be Glaive. Now, Tabson has gotten by him. And they're not entirely aware of this. Tabson back to back with Glaive. It's just a matter of who notices who first, but Glaive goes down at the hands of Tizian, and they don't know that Tabson's here. Tizian groups up with him now, but as they get this trade, they might. Ooh, they're not going to get it either. Device falls. Magisk and Dupree make that now. No. Just Magisk. Smooya burns out Tabson. It's down to a 1v2 on the back of that team kill from Smooya. And Magisk, he looked fantastic on train. He's got to try and be all that and more now on Inferno, and Magisk is going to do it from the pit. What a man this magician is, and Astralis moving on to a 4th. He's looking to take them to the stars with plays that are out of this world. This man putting up numbers in the server, now 4-2 for Astralis.
Oh, that Molotov kill from Smooya to Tabson, that is the worst. That loses Big the round, because even though they should have won the 2v1, if they had another player, surely Magician can't win that clutch. Dear oh dear. 4-2 to Astralis, and the result of losing that 3v1 has now put Big down on pistols. Couldn't get worse than this. Astralis now have the opportunity to run away with a bit of a T-side streak, as we saw in the previous map. They're on 4 rounds in a row now. Already set up outside of the B site. Bomb still dropped down T-ramp, and yeah, see, this is what I mean. Look at these nades, right? if they're gonna, is that towards Coffin? I feel that's towards Coffin. Oh, wrong site rush. There we go. Yeah, it's a Coffin nade, so no one there. Luckily enough for Big, but talk about sweaty nades, Harry.
Oh, I mean, things are about to get real sweaty over here. Midazon next is forced back off the angle. He's only got one player to help him out. Big with 3 guys over towards this B bomb site. You're relying on God B and next to defend this site alone, and it's God B up on the balcony. But this man's not a Romeo. He's not looking to profess his love. Instead, he's looking to try and shut down some Danes. He cowers for now, and then he pounces from the shadows. Only good for 1. Before Zipnix gets that trade. Bomb looking to go down as they clear out this site. Just Smooya and Tizian left up. And as that bomb gets planted, the reality is Astralis very likely to be picking up this 5th round. There should be no way back into it with just the CZs and the Deegs. So 5-2 for the Danes, but a bye on the horizon at the very least for Big.
Ooh. So mystery how none of them hit. Astralis get away unscathed on these 4 players for now. And even just saving safe in the pit because they have full HP. They don't need to risk running outside of the site to potentially go down to these big players that are looking for exits. They should expect the Astralis players in pit though. They've not seen them come up through mid or long. And all 4 players surviving here. So Astralis making a lot of money as well on the T side just to make things even more difficult if they weren't already for Big. 2 rounds on the CT side. It's been a slow game for them. They got the pistol in the 1 conversion, but since Astralis have bought up on that 3rd round, they have not stopped this streak. 5-2, guns are up for Big. Double AWP as well. That's something new we've not seen just yet this map. Astralis, again, reluctant to pull up the AWP, and I don't really blame them. They've not been having a problem with Smooya just yet, so there's no reason for them to have a counter AWP. Smooya down a banana. He's already going to be mollying off, giving away the fact that he has this AWP. Tabson's actually the one to find first blood down middle. A late round peak taking down Dupree. They're going to look for Smooya. He hits the wallbang to Glaive, but it's not the kill that he would have wanted.
3rd man rotating on around here for Big. Tizian boosted up as well. Astralis slowly but surely tiptoeing forward. They're lining up the smokes and flashes to try and get in towards this B-bomb site. We'll be walking into the more stacked of the 2. And also keep your eye on that fast rotation in through mid. Looks like it's all going to be on Smooya for the time being, along with the rest of the boys inside of here. And they clean up. Next, going to go ahead and sweep down 2 with the M4. Big, a quick turnaround there as they shut down attempted B bomb site take from the Astralis side. Flashbangs to allow Next to find that. He's going to get gifted them almost. But there is still money in those Astralis bank accounts. These guys have been doing pretty well for themselves as of late.
Some wise investments.
Yeah, I mean, even in and out of the server, I guess it's very true. These guys are looking good. But still no AWP in for device. I was kind of expecting. There's that nade usage that we've been on about. I think on Inferno, it's so much impact comes on the back of these nades.
That's well read as well, because Smooya's gone in that position twice and been going for, you know, wallbangs or whatever. He shot Glaive in the previous round over the top of that wall, so Astralis just went, okay, he's got the AWP, he's going to go there again, let's just triple nade it, and they do exactly that. Big opening kill, and another 1-for-1 down on B, leaving just Next mollied off, and those flames are going to make some noise as well, or at least him having impact with them. Astralis now know he's on the coffin, and they want to pack him tight inside of one. I think Big have already given up with this round. If Next can do something, maybe they'll give it a consideration, but these 2 A players are on the other side of the map, yet to move a muscle. As Next, he should probably just get out of there. If they need every penny they can get, and you already know that Astralis are getting this reset, you may as well just take the gun while you can, but as that smoke fades, his opportunity to escape will as well, so he needs to get going.
Yeah, I mean, this is the issue. It's just another round straight back from Astralis. Now, luckily enough, you got 3 players surviving. Over in the side of Big, you can have Tabson drop something over, as can Next. So they won't be without a buy, but they could be in the next. There's those nades that we saw rain on in. I mean, even if Magisk hadn't have picked that up, there was a third nade that came in just after. So Smooya was, his fate was very much sealed. The second he went for that same peak twice. Astralis, like, you know, one of those advanced, what is it, OpenAI or something like that, where it's just like is a learning, you know, machine learning. Yeah, he did it once, but he's never going to get away with it ever again.
Six to 3 here. The reset coming through for Astralis. Big with one more buy before we see a potential eco here. Astralis again deep in the apartments. This time Godby's actually taking the fight from a far more aggressive angle. Next on the anti-flash as well. Very common to see that chimney bounce flash from Astralis. Instead it's over from middle. Godby going to spray away. Can't connect. They won't expect the second man here, and he gets 2 as well. Still it's a 2-for-2 trade for Astralis, and they are actually on the A site. tabseN cannot hold it with the AWP despite diving in through the long smoke, and now Astralis, they have everything going for them, but TiZiAN, a huge crucial kill, dropping the bomb, delaying the plant, and allowing his team to set up for this 2v2 retake.
And this is something we've hardly ever seen Big have that opportunity to do, is have this retake ready to go. Both players are already here as that bomb goes down. The nade going to find so much damage on the Smoothie. They managed to try and boost him up, but Device, he's ready to shut down that boost. And now it is just TiZiAN 1v2. And he's the man who made this possible with that first frag through the smoke. He's now going to go ahead and do that much more. Does spot out Glaive. Will he be ready for Device? Holding this close angle. They're just toying with him, playing with their food. And there's Glaive instantly in position to trade. You saw him just baiting for Device, keeping the attention away from the second. Device goes down, Glaive peeks out, and that's the round all said and done.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. The reason tabseN dies there is because he jumps. If he didn't jump, whoever that player was on the balcony wouldn't have seen him come through with the flash. He would have turned away, would have missed tabseN, and tabseN probably would have got that kill. But because he jumped, he actually showed his head over the top of that big box on the site. Obviously, I think the jump is justified in the sense that you're going through a smoke. You want to try and, you know, make your model hard to hit, but even so, a little detail there, they actually lost Big a very important kill. They could have won the round without that. So now 7-3, Astralis' T side, relentless as we expect it to be.
Well, Device going to open things up. This is, you know, I keep seeing, I think it might even be TiZiAN most of the time, playing that same position on Fountain, and Device, you know, he hasn't missed a beat at hitting that shot. Smoothie is going to manage one with the PT-50, but he's not the hero. Big reserve right now. He goes down straight away. Magisk is just farming up kills as well inside of the B-bomb site. This is an 8th round for Astralis, guaranteed at this point in time. This T-side has been brutal from them.
Oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, when I saw Inferno in this game, you know, even with the history of Big on this map, I was still worried. Astralis are just horrifying on this map.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, you know, we said, like, you know, I know we were speaking on the desk briefly. We kind of mentioned how, you know, the last game wasn't good counter, but I think, like, it is good Counter-Strike. Astralis play, you know, very, very good counter. But that's the thing, is it's like they're so above and beyond anyone else right now. I feel like, you know, they make all the games feel very one-sided, you know, these days. They're very good at that. That's why I keep saying, in a way, that they could be the perfect villain. You know, they could be the team that you get so tired of seeing winning that you just can't wait till they finally get overthrown.
Think back to that old school Fnatic, right? Talking 2015. Everyone was waiting for that to happen, but I think it's right. They're just so lovable as people and players. And
yeah, that's the issue,
that makes it hard, right? Not to say Fnatic aren't, but at the time there was certainly, like, controversy, right? But either way, back into the game. We'll save that for another time. Astralis are in the CT spawn. Typical position as a terrorist, obviously. Glaive will be going down to the library push. Godby, he's been reading his books very well and apparently been on the DM as well as that. He's finding Device caught out in the CT spawn, leaving just Xyp9x. Smoke is still up, so he needs to cross quickly, but that flashbang will prohibit him from doing so. Now he has to take the gunfight, or at least Godby doesn't choose to. He'll back off. Xyp9x given a chance to plant here at the oranges. Where will he go? Because Godby's already going to walk in. Xyp9x really wants to take a 1v1 here. If he can kill one of these two players before they group up and try and work this retake together, that would make things very, very easy. But Harry, again, clutches Xyp9x. This is duo old as time itself.
Yeah, almost definitely. His car must hate him because he's very, very harsh on the clutch. But Xyp9x, here we go. Going to go and find that first. Now he ducks away. He spots out where Godby is, but he just manages to get around the corner, and the time's so far gone. Godby has to get on this defuse now if he wants to try and get it. He taps it once, but it's not enough. This round should be all said and done. And Xyp9x, oh, there you go. Free frag onto Godby. Astralis going to be locking in a 9th round. Everybody dies in the server, and ultimately that is a much harsher reality right now for Big Astralis. They're rolling in money. They don't mind, but Big, you know, they've struggled to build anything up, so losing all 5 once again, just devastating for them. As now we have to see a partial investment in into round 13, where they currently sit 6 rounds behind Astralis on the CT side of Inferno.
What an infuriating flashbang that was from Xyp9x over the top of Ruins as well. There are a lot of nades you can actually do over the top of Ruins that land in the bomb site that people don't do. You know, you still have a skybox there. You can bounce mollies off the top of, you know, from inside Ruins into default, for example, or into a plant spot. So not many teams do that, but it is possible. Xyp9x abusing that, of course, and he's going to open up this round as well. It's already a 3v3. The A site is Astralis's. And again, Harry, we're in a situation where it's like, you're Astralis, you're taking the A site, it's a 3v3. This round is almost done. Yes, we have Big with guns, and that may tempt them into going for something here, looking for a pick, but armorless makes things far more difficult than they need to be here for the Germans.
Yeah, now that they lose tabs, and this is it, they're going to just back away, look to try and save a 10th round for the Danes. 10-3 is the score right now in this server, and Astralis are going to try and keep things flawless here in Pro League at the end of this first half, currently spotting a massive lead. There's only a few more rounds left before we see how this first half pans out in its entirety. But already, this is an absolutely phenomenal half from the Danes.
We can't say we expected much else, Harry. Look at those stats. Dear oh dear. Oh, nice shot from Tabson. Does do some damage on Banana, but again, it's not going to account for much here, Harry. It's 10-3. A couple of fancy CZ kills will not win you the game. Maybe an auto shot he will. That's what God B thinks. A couple of AWPs as well for Big. Arm to the teeth, but at this point, that's not been making the most of differences. Astralis have been running wild over this map. Device setting up the top banana smoke to allow them to take quick control of B, but Smooth's already cut out the first man. Magist going down. And Smooth repositioning back in CT spawn, taking a wider angle to try and offset the pace. Astralis are going to speed things up, though. They're going to go right into this B site. The smoke is down for Coffins. The Molotov out in the open. Smooth is wrapped back round through the Coffins, and that's a tag to Device. That's some damage. This could be finally the round that Big actually can steal away from the clutches of the Danes. Smooth just needs to be careful if he gets timed on that peak. Glaive goes through the smoke. Tizian's ready finally on the other side, not playing the fountain. And if 5-on-3, these are the best odds Big have had all game.
Still here, still at this B bomb site, trying to sell this fake. Oh my goodness, Xyp9x is just an absolute gamer. There's no denying it. 3-on-3, Hugo. Got B with the auto shotgun, because why not? He's over in the apartments right now. He's come to call this home. Xyp9x wrapping around in the back, all the way through. CT drops next, and this man advantage is conceded. Oh, that's the bomb drop, though. Got B sitting on it like a mother hen to an egg. This man is going to fight tooth and nail to protect it if he has to. It's Device left in a 1v2. He's got to go back and grab this bomb. 25 seconds, Hugo. God beat. And Iron Will in patience is... Waits, Device retrieves it. Here's the footsteps and the timings there. God B going to drop him. That'll be Big, securing themselves a 4th round. A potential now a 5-10 half, which... Well, it's not great, but it's, you know, it's definitely not that. I'm really looking for silver line. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Right. You know, it's a step in the right direction here.
Well, the shotgun's now in the hands of Nex instead. Smooth is on his old AWP, and Tabson, look at the pace. I like this. A bit of confidence now from him. Maybe going to pull Big forward in a big way, but Dupree shuts it down instantly with a trade. Tabson going for a little bit too much there. Could have fallen back with one, but maybe felt the need to get a couple of kills because Astralis, they just keep turning back these situations. Even that 5-on-3 in the previous round with Device on 9 HP kills Smooth and Bees. Next gets the one tap on long. Even if Astralis are down 2 men, rest assured they're typically going to pull things back, and they have here. Next, this is not a good position for a shotgun at all. Playing Coffin, oranges would be far more important, or far more useful, I think. But hey, he's going to get a kill. Tizian is hurt on the Buso. That's the only problem. So Astralis should be ready for this. Tizian fakes the drop, and they will fall for it. Glaive looking down, not up, and Tizian will take his head right off. It's now instead going to be Dupree trying to lurk out of this A apartment, and he does drop God B in the process. That will call for his final teammate to come and help. The problem is Smooth is here to cut it off.
Yeah, he's got so much to do. Ooh, into his crosshair magic. Just going to offer himself up to Smooya, and Dupree left 8 HP, 30 seconds on this clock. This seems like it should be impossible, but it's Dupree, and he always looks to try and make you believe. Ooh, almost going to finish off Smooya, but just able to find that. My goodness.
Yeah, nice try either way, and that's not a bad half by any means for Big, in the sense of, 5 rounds is more than you could expect, given the fact that Astralis have already stomped them on the previous and the form they're in right now. But again, Harry, even with a quote-unquote good half, it might not be enough. Astralis are looking like the kings of CS right now. 10 rounds on their terrorist half of Inferno. You cannot ask for more than that.
No, I mean, you definitely. Astralis are looking fantastic. Now moving into their CT side. This is where we haven't really seen the AWP on device all too much, because it's not, he doesn't really use it on the T side. But CT side, going to be bringing that out. You can bet that's the first point of call for Astralis here. They can just look this. I mean, with how he's playing, you might not even want to use him over towards Banana. You can just have him run amok, right, and do whatever with it. Try and find your openers. But there's so much versatility there. Device just sets up on that banana position, plays the railgun there, frees up an extra man to go and hold A. He's so dependable in that sort of situation. Just having him posted up, you can almost guarantee he's going to hit that first shot. So, then you kind of look over at Big. They were always denied banana control, it felt like. Never really got the chance to challenge for it all too much either.
Yeah, I mean, the main reason we don't see the AWP on the T side is just the pace that Astralis have been setting, especially, right? Think about how many rounds that they just charged up B initially off of spawn and went for quick B plays. And then even the fact that you can double back between both sites on this map faster than any other map as a terrorist, it's so much easier to just play a rifle into that, because you can just always be ready, always, no need to be scoped in or holding an angle. And Astralis like to set a fast pace. But let's see what the pace will be set by Big is on the second half.
Oh, well, Dupree looking to try and kick this up a gear as he goes pushing in towards the apartments. Maybe he's going to regret this now.
Yeah.
Device finishes off so the enemy team card. That wasn't the intention, but...
I remember the first time I was playing CS, my friend said, "Oh, you're low, I'll kill you so they don't get the money." And he killed me.
The iconic strategy right there, isn't it?
Yeah, and I was like, I believed it until I realized that when you killed your teammate back then, you lose like $3,000. I was like, that's not financially wise.
Well, making good financial decisions is not something that you or I get to do, Hugo. But his next, tell you what, he's finding a couple of kills. Magisk.
He's going to get quad peeked.
There's a lot of players there. The smoke's gone down, and that's given him a little bit of a veil, a little bit of a curtain to hide behind. Sadly, Smooya gonna go ahead and peel the curtains back. And that will be going the way of Big. So a chance here at now starting to catch back up and make their way back into this game.
Yeah, again, it's the same though as not only the previous half, but the previous map. Big have been very successful in these pistol rounds, Harry. Let's not forget that, right? They got the previous pistol, they converted it as well, and they still got stomped on the first half. Same story with their T side of Train pistol, still got stomped. It's never reassuring. I mean, it's slightly reassuring, but it's never realistic. Either way. Let's see what Big can get done with this. It gives them the chance to get up to 8 rounds or so, right? From then on, that's when we have Astralis with guns, and that's when you really need to worry. But let's see if Big can convert these rounds, because that would definitely be a necessity to winning this map.
They're quite fortunate that the copies have to answer back and actually find that trade, because it was through the smoke. That is entirely by chance. And I mean, I tell you what, you say that Astralis going to have guns, around about that kind of 8 scoreline for Big, but this buy now that Astralis have, there's only 2 rifles out over for Big right now.
Oh no.
One of them gets dropped. That was Smooya giving that away. Nexus able to trade, and Tizian thankfully re-extends the man advantage. Device now falls, so they've been able to get a leash back on the beast that is Astralis. Only one man left, and it's Glaive. While he's feeling brave, Nexus is going to show him that maybe he should just sit down and behave. It's 7-10 right now for Big. And we still have one more little round of like a grace period for these guys to go 8 to 10 before the bye comes in from the Danes.
I really hope for big sake they can win the first rifle round as well. Astralis forced up into the second, meaning when we get to that bye next round, they're not going to have full utility. They're not going to, have those incendiaries that they are so good at delaying T sides from committing to sites until 20 seconds with, or even the AWP unless they go glass cannon. So that'll be a question whether Astralis want to pull that in. We'll see. Maybe not with the SMGs that Big are running and the pace they're setting. And this round is a good example. God B is already in that B site. If a player in the smoke creeping on through, that's it. There's no way he gets a kill here. He gets a dink. That's not enough because now Nex has already found the first entry and tabseN's going to join the fray as well. Big are on the bomb site. Glaive dropped from the back as well by tabseN's MP5, and Big are making a mockery of this eco from Astralis, as you would hope so, with only USPs.
Yeah, at least they're able to keep this on very, very clean. That's now a little bit of a buffer built up as well here for Big. Here's the buy from Astralis. They don't have the money to go for the AWP. That's something that is worth noting. So they don't have that kind of power play from Device. Rifles across the board right now for these guys. Didn't quite have the money or anything else over on the side of Big. It's a bit of a bonus round in the sense you still have God B and tabseN up with these SMGs, and there's not head armor across the board on Astralis. That's something to consider. Smooya, fast play into the apartments, and looked like he was going to end up meeting dupreeh, but dupreeh backs away.
Big have forced Astralis into a far more passive setup. Problem is, they've gone passive as a result of taking this banana control. They don't need to contest A because they know it's going to be an A play after all. They can afford to give Big the room up on long, bait them into their 4-man setup. Unfortunately for them, Big are one step ahead. The bomb going first. That's all the information Astralis need. Only one kill from Xyp9x, but he does damage to follow up, and that can call for a full rotate if Astralis need to, but they don't know whether these T's are committing just yet. Glaive is in position. He's asking for the help of Device, and dupreeh's still in long where he can easily wrap back between the sites depending on where Big commit. If anything, Big look unsure right now. It will be back to A. So dupreeh and Magisk are going to be tasked with holding this one down, but time is slipping away from the fingers of this T side.
And you can already see this this slow rotation in from Device. There's 3 players here, and even then, it looks like Glaive's toying with the idea of pushing down through Banana. He's going to be hot on their heels here as Big now look to push on in. Device goes through this smoke, but they're keeping an eye on it. There's only one man here, but it's Magisk, and he's been good in the pit. This time, he only gets one. It's Glaive locked in the 1v2 now versus Big. That bomb is going down. Smooya and Tizian have a precious couple of seconds now to try and set up a post plant so that they can trade this efficiently. That's something that we've seen Astralis time and time again on their T side. They spot out Glaive over here at short. He's made aware of the presence of the man down in the pit. But now we have to see if Smooya and Tizian can play this smart, play this one together. Glaive on top of the hay bales, feeling a little hoarse right now as he starts to go peeking on in. There's a man down. That's Smooya, and Smooya's going to be able to find it. So in the 2v1, Big hold their own and pick themselves up a 9th round.
Yeah, nice work from Smooya there. He actually flashes off the door of the apartments, which bounces out to Glaive's face. And in the time that Glaive looks away from the flash, Smooya crosses from big pit to mini pit, and therefore he can establish a better crossfire with his teammate on the site rather than be susceptible to exactly what Glaive did, climb up above the hay bales and try and look for an angle down on Smooya. So avoids that well, and Big do win their first rifle round, Harry. Now we have a game on our hands. I was a little worried that the second Astralis get guns in their hands that they're just going to wipe Big down. But even though Astralis had all the information from that early B push in the previous, they're still not going to pick it up. This is now this now means Big is now back in business, looking to equal up the scoreline as Astralis are only on pistols. Glaive gets very, very close to the corner. They should have heard that. They should be ready for it. The CZ not going to get it done.
Nade, that is a meaty nade onto Xyp9x as well. He's going to fall. This B-bomb site is gone. There's Device here with a deal though, so actually maybe it's not gone. Device is feeling a little bit lucky. He's going to stick around. Doesn't have armor either, so he can definitely afford just to give this deagle away if it means doing a little bit more damage. He's going to be buying up in the next round regardless. And Smooya to get rid of him. Just Magisk and Dupree left, and they're holding on to the armor and the CZs into this next round. Going to be buying up that much cheaper. They can now get, you know, effectively $600 extra utility, which is worth its weight in gold at this point in time. Big, though, moving on to a 10th round, all tied up here on Inferno.
Gordon Ramsay over here. Hell's Kitchen.
Well, this is looking like a bit of a kitchen nightmare right now for Astralis.
I mean, there are chickens sinking into the floor. So, is that a hygiene problem?
Wow, Valve. How
Please
could you let
fix.
this happen? You know, this used to be such a clean game, Hugo, but now it really makes you think, doesn't it?
It's full of everything. Bigs, bugs. Not a fan of that one, Harry.
No. So, tactical timeout called in for Big anyway, Hugo.
That's nice.
I think you know, the whole big bug thing is definitely a legacy those guys would rather just move on from. Especially when, you know, they've still a lot of people seem to make out it was the only reason they were any good, but they still did fantastic, you know, regardless.
I think it would have been nice if they played, like, the thing is, everyone just let them play Inferno in that major, which was just silly, and so it's very easy to just go, oh, they only won an Inferno, they're not good. You know, if we saw them win other maps, I think people would have been less likely to just go for that, but whatever. That's in the past.
Yeah, it is in the past.
Hashtag new big.
Exactly, Hugo. Here's Device. I tell you what, this man, he's not from the past. He's from 3 seconds in the future. He knows what's going to happen. He's got his crystal ball, and he's shut down tabseN because he's a literal wizard of a human being. He's fallen back. Over towards the arch side he goes. Tizian here to try and help out, along with, I believe that's next. Dupree going to be chiming in with one more. And already this heavy man advantage taken by Astralis. The nades raining in. They're going to try and boost up Smooya. He peeks on into the pit. Jump up from Magisk. He catches a bullet, but he's still alive. The Molotov forcing him out into mini pit. Dupree. Magisk have this crossfire set on up. Tizian going to get brought down that much though. Astralis already with everyone here, and Smooya on top of the hay bales, brought down to his knees. They've been slowed down to a halt. Everyone from Astralis has come rotating in. There should be absolutely no way back into this round from Big. Device chiming in with one more from the library. More players trying to cross on by, but Magisk in the pit. He's the X factor. It's him and Xyp9x to finish things off at the end of that round, and Astralis moving on to an 11th. Hugo, that was such a meat grinder there.
Yeah.
In through the short position.
Dirty crossfires from Astralis. I mean, look at the way that they're taking fights, right? The man on the site, Magisk gets spotted, moves to a mini pit. The man on the site then takes the more aggressive angle of the two because he knows they're going to be focusing on Magisk, not on the site. And then after he shoots, he moves away, or he dies, sorry, and then Device gets a kill from library. I mean, there's no way you can go when you're big in that situation. Astralis have every angle covered. Look at this aggression in this round. Glaive has just gone straight down Banana, headed up by Xyp9x. 2 kills instantaneously. Next, knows they have to reload and can see the nades going through, so he dives on in response. Both kills taken. That's massive. That's opened up the B site completely. Astralis weren't ready to rotate a third player over, so as a result, we've already got these T's in here. Device decapitated by Nex, and now it's a 3-on-2.
Oh my, where has this come from? Nex has been sitting on this for a little while. He's going to find himself 3 kills. That's his round all said and done. Astralis just back away. They concede, you know, fair enough. They let him have his beans, and he's got that bomb down. That's going to be Big moving on to an 11th round, Hugo.
Nex has been the top performer, I think, for Big all game as well. So, yeah, there's no surprise to see him come away with that. 23 kills after that round. He was even 5 ahead before that. It's nice to see Big keep this one close. It's not over till it's over, Harry, even if Astralis are looking so damn good right now, but Big are going to be resetting them after just a single rifle round here. That's now going to put Astralis in a bit of an awkward spot. Luckily, the double gun save should allow for a full buy anyway, but the AWP is going to be a mythical creature here. They're not going to be able to see nor buy it. And that means Smooya is all the more deadly.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be given a lot more free reign to go and check. Doesn't have to worry about a nasty little Device trying to pick him up. But they can't breathe the too heavy sigh of relief. The AWP isn't amazing on the T side of Inferno. It takes a certain kind of AWP to be able to use it very proficiently, at least up to 100%. we have seen some impressive Smoothie performances on this map. Like I was saying, you know, when we spoke about it briefly on the desk, you think back to the group stages at Cologne, there was that game versus MIBR. Him v Fallen was a fantastic duel, and now we get to see him v Device. Over here, speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Device forced out from the cubby, just concedes this portion of the map for now. Gonna fall back into the loving embrace of his IGL Glaive.
Oh, careful. More impressive nades chipping away at the big players. Godby and Smooya dropped to 50 and 60. Smooya looking to molly this left corner, try and force any Astralis players out, but they've already conceded that position, as you said. Glaive's back on the arch, and he's got some support from Device here on the corner. They're just waiting. As soon as Glaive gets spotted, that's when they both peek, but Godby actually catches Glaive trying to move through the smoke as it blooms. Device now has to be careful, and Gob's definitely spotted him there. Great flashbang from Astralis, but he won't be able to connect the shot to trade it back. Problem is, Harry, 30 seconds left. Big need to hurry on up. They don't have the time to wait around. Godby has lurked his way inside of the spawn, but this is not a B play. This is not a wrap through the banana. They've got to commit towards A. The bomb's already up short. Smooya with a huge kill into Magisk, but Dupree still here in the pit with a crossfire. They may be able to drop the bomb. Dupree does exactly that, but he's still got to stay alive if they want to win the round from time, and Smooya will not let them. 12 rounds from Big. They're back in the lead, taking it away from Astralis.
Yeah, I mean, this is mental at this point in time. You know, Big in the lead. I think this is the first time in this entire series, aside from, you know, on the back of the early rounds, like the early pistol rounds, that we've seen them have a lead this late in the game. So that is just unreal. I always feel like Big had that lead slip away from them within the first, 5 rounds, and then I think they never really ever got it back. You know, even if you think back to the previous map. So this is already monumental from them. They need 4 more to close this out. And they're going to be gifted this one for free, or at least they should. Unless something goes disastrously wrong, you've only got 1 CZ invested, so there should be no way for Astralis to win this, although stranger things have happened. But this gives us a chance, at least, to reflect on what we've seen so far, and also kind of talk about what we can anticipate to see in this coming round. Haven't really seen too much in the way of AWPing for Astralis. Actually, this not looking like it's going to be the cleanest round ever for Biggs. Let's actually refocus back in. Next, able to find Zinix with the nade, but Smooya loves a TK. That's his second of the game thus far. Just Magisk left alive, though. 1v3, and only a USP. Nothing rhymes with oranges, so you can't actually say that as, you know, part of the rhyme. And they seem to be very aware. Godby, he's checking this. Ooh, there we go. He spots him, and that's the round. Big 13-11, Hugo. The buy's coming in for Astralis in this round, but they're approaching that kind of last chance stage, and they know it. Tactical pause called on in. Curious if this is Big or Astralis. Either side, you could justify it, right? But it's exciting stuff regardless, because a win in this one for Big, Hugo, means that Astralis get reset into the next round. At which point you're staring down the barrel of a 14-11 scoreline on an eco.
Yeah, that's pretty scary stuff, considering we kind of wrote out Big coming into this game. We saw Train, we weren't that impressed, and especially considering how good Astralis have been at this map, I think most people kind of went, the chances are pretty low for Big. But they've done it so far. They've impressed us here. 13 rounds. Their T-side has been far more than that of what we expected. Remember, they got 5 rounds in the first half. On CT Inferno, 5 rounds is typically not enough. And even with the pistols as well. So the fact that they've come back this far is pretty impressive. Astralis having got only 1 round on the CT side. Going back to the old school days. Where's condition 0? That's what I ask.
Yeah, that's the real legacy. I tell you what, they're, you know what conditions we said they were 0 off? 0 win conditions for Big, and yet they're surprising us right now. 13-11, Hugo, would you believe it? A chance here of picking up a 14th and resetting Astralis. This is a monumental round for the German UK team. Let me point that out now. This could very well decide the fate of this game.
This should decide the fate of the game. If Big win this, it's not GG, but it's definitely looking likely. Dupree, however, shutting down the first man. Nice flash from Glaive. It blinds Tabson. He can't hide himself in that arch smoke in time. Smooth's got to respond here, but the shot missed, and he's down to 11 in the process. Dupree does walk through the smoke on short, and that will be a bit of a problem, but Glaive can't Fire back on through. They line up. No! Glaive finds both. Now it's just Smooya, and he cannot stand the test of time. 12 rounds for Astralis. A round they needed, Harry, and a round they get.
Yeah, that is so important for the Danes if they want to try and make this comeback happen. That round did feel like their fate was sealed. The second Dupree wins that fight out on Banana, and then he just sticks around over towards Kai. He gets all the information that it's clear. And then you had Glaive, before he even lands that Tuka, him keeping an eye on mid. He gets that information. If he sees no one there, they can kind of anticipate, maybe they've gone back to their apartments. They're heading back towards B. But spots them out. They have so much information at that point in time. So many crossfires set up once again. And then everything just slots right back into place for the Danes. Tabson up towards the top of Banana, holding close. Gets flashed over by Tizian down towards the bottom of Banana. That's netted him 2 quick kills. That's that B bomb site cracked wide open. And Dupree, the first man on the scene, trying all he can to repel this big offensive. But he hasn't found anything yet as the smokes rain in.
Oh, that's a kill. That's something now for Astralis. God B's also tagged, but the double Molotov, that forces him forward. He can't afford to go back. It was too deep. He's now in the middle of the site, and God B, he should be communicating this to his team. Nex is not ready for it. Dupree snuck behind him. What is going on? They're jumping up. He's going to get a free kill. 2 kills from the back. How on earth has Dupree made this round winnable? Smooya's still here. They need to get rid of him. He's able to retreat back to the new box. Do they realize it, or do they even check it? That's a yes. Smooya has the lockdown, but still, this is a 2v2 that never should have been.
No, there is no way that this ever should have happened. Dupree slipping into the back. He might have made this possible, and now the site falls silent. It's Smooya and Tizian left alive, but they have no clue as to the whereabouts of these last 2 players for Astralis. It's Device and Magisk. That is a terrifying duo to run into. Device. No. Slowly but surely, he's going to rear his head around the corner here. Smooya locked in the duel with him. We get to see the standoff between the 2 AWPers, and Device wins it. Now it's just Tizian. 1v2 from behind new box. The Molotovs force him out. It's perfect. They almost line up for him, but Device is able to trade. And that's the round going the way of the Danes. 13-13, all tied up, Hugo. This is going down to the wire.
I mean, talk about utility usage. Double Molotov at new box to force out the last player. The fact that Dupree even gets behind oranges and gets a reload in is ridiculous. He had 17 bullets. He didn't even need that reload, Harry. But I feel like he went for it knowing that he had an AK, and the terrorists there would not assume that, there was a CT on double oranges or second oranges. That is obscene. That is filth. And it's going to mean Astralis are up to 13. They were slow in this second half, but they finally ramped up when it really matters. 2 in a row. This one, Harry, would flip it on its head and put big on Eco, but Smooya does not want that to happen.
Yeah, he really doesn't. He's going to get revenge for that previous round. This time, he outshoots Device. Quicker on the trigger, man advantage gained for Big, and now they're setting up for this A play, but already rotations in. Astralis, they've gone ahead and lumped all their eggs into one basket here. All 4 players rotating around. There's 1 minute and 15 seconds left. You can see, and now that man from B, that Sitnik's looking a little bit hesitant as to whether or not he wants to commit to this. He's going to head back towards that B bomb site, and Big still here, still with all 5 players with an earshot of the site here at A. Magisk and Tizian locked in this standoff up on the balcony. Flash out for Glaive to try and probe towards long, but it just misses. Tabson catches a very good timing there, not exposed to that flashbang. As a result, he finds that frag. Magisk tries to re-aggress, and Tizian going to extend the man advantage. It's only Dupree here, and he can't get anything done. He's left alone. It's just Sipnik's 1v4, and he's going to have to hold on to his M4 in this scenario. Now, Big going to move back into the lead, 14-13, and a reset onto Astralis.
Yeah, that was a money-crunching round. Both teams had no money left up. Even though Astralis got 2 rounds in a row, they lost all those players in that previous, apart from 2 surviving. So there we go. Big are going to break the money for Astralis. And now the question is, 14-13, if you're Astralis, do you buy around this rifle, or do you eco? Because if you eco, you can somewhat buy up in the 15-13 region, but even then, that is not fun. You've got to win in overtime if you're Astralis.
Yeah, I think at this point as well, it's really just pick your poison, right? I imagine this is where we see the tactical pause come on in. On one hand, you've got to think, you know, if you're Astralis, you think you can win every round as it is, so you could very well justify the force here. But on the flip side, if you think you can win every round, you know, maybe it's better to give yourself the best possible chance to win 2 in a row and carry this through to an overtime. The tactical pause is calling in, and now I'm so curious to see what the decision's going to be here from the Danes. How do they approach this problem? This isn't something they've had to deal with very much in the last few months, is actually taking losses like this. So this is one of the first time in a little while we've seen the Danes look vulnerable at all.
And of course, it's the Astralis timeout. Do not blame them.
I mean, yeah, and this is their chance as well. You know, I'm going to sit back, have a little discussion with your boy Zonic as well. He can chime in, trying to figure out how best to invest.
What have they done? Edge of my seat here.
I've never been so excited to see how someone else has spent their money.
Yeah. Oh, even bigger.
Another timeout called in. They're keeping us in suspense, Hugo.
I mean, we're just specking the T-spawn. That's the worst part. It's like, I know Big are going to buy. They won the round, but, you know, they like to keep us on the edge of the seat here at Pro League, Harry. No one can know.
They're building up the tension behind this buy. Saw that quick switch.
Yeah, right. You're just scared to see T-spawn. Like, no, don't show them. Don't show them. 14-13, though, and Big's tactical timeout about to run dry, so...
Ooh, am I...
Are you cheating, Harry? Are you finding out what they've done?
I don't know. Maybe I did just spoil it for myself. Maybe there are spoilers ahead. I don't know. I'm still curious, you know.
Exactly. 5 auto shotties.
They're waiting down to the wire, man. Rushes.
There we go. Force buy. I like it. Come on, Astralis. You are the best team in the world. If there's any time to prove it, it's now.
Yeah, Zipnix with that scavenge then for CZ. Little bit of utility here and there. And Sindri's in such a plenty. You're going to be relying on Zipnix a lot though to try and find openers, try and drop some weapons for the rest of these guys to pick on up and then use into this round. Big. They cannot afford to get caught out on a limb here by Zipnix over towards the top of Banana. He's in search of those weapons for the rest of his team. Going on a scavenger hunt and they can't afford to give anything up.
Sminger backs out of the Banana. Giving that over to Astralis, although this is not a round where they have the utility to justify that much aggression. They've got to use every single nade wisely. And Big coming up in through the apartments here. Very close range, meaning pistols are going to be a bit of a problem, but there's only one man here, and that is Magisk. All on his shoulders. Got to be rounding the corner. 3 players here for Big. They're going to be heard setting up nades, though. So Magis should be ready somewhat for this push to come through. The flash is perfect, and he is completely blindsided. Godby charging in is one trade from Dupree, but Tizian keeps things in the advantage for Big. The bomb can go down, and Astralis are a man down, already throwing in the towel.
Yeah, they're going to back away and say, you know, it's the smart play to make. They try the force buy, they lose a couple of players, and now they're able to go ahead and fall out of this round. With the M4 still in tow, with the armor, the sorry, not the SNUs, but the CZs across Glaive and Device. So they're going to have something to work with in this coming round at the very least, but now we're going to see them try and claw their way back into this. They need 2 in a row on the back of a buy that's going to be very, very cobbled together. It's going to be patchy, right? You're going to have maybe a couple of Famases, a couple of the MP5 SDs thrown into this. Not going to be everything you need, Hugo.
Yeah, no Famases, please.
No Famases, please? No.
Don't play Famases at match point. Just don't. Just don't play Famas. If you're going to spend $2,200 and $50, buy something good.
What would you say is good, Hugo?
Literally anything else.
Literally
Bison. No, another Bison.
You know,
but an SMG with utility is far better than the Famas. You don't have the money for... I mean, they can't even buy Famases. No one even has 2250, Harry. Not one player has enough money for a
It's a pretty devastating place to be. But this is good if you are a big fan at the very least. 15-13 match point here on Inferno. What a game it's been. We're going to be heading into now what could be the last round, round 29. Astralis need 2 more to carry this game through to overtime. Taking a look at this buy, it's very, very shoddily put together. Mag 7 on Device, Dupree with the UMP, Zipnix with the rifle. And early on, set Device up over here towards Long. He does have players potentially coming his way. Smoothie rears his head in mid. If he can get this up, this round maybe becomes possible, but the smoke goes down over at Long. He's not going to get peeked into anytime soon. There's aggression over here in towards the apartments. Sadly, this is Tizian's house. He's gone ahead and found the man advantage for Big at exactly the right time. And now Godby, the mastermind behind the operation, can just sit back, figure out how they want to play out the rest of this round.
Oh no, look at this stack from Astralis. They are gambling here, and this is an opportune time to gamble, but it could come back to haunt them. Zitnix will luckily commit to that B-bomb site, but his teammates left him. Only M4 in the server here. Alone. Flash around the corner. He's got to move off. Tag down to 50 as well. If Big can get themselves into this site, they will win the game here and now. There's no way Astralis will retake with this little weaponry. They don't even have a kit, Harry. But Big aren't committing to the B after all. As Astralis rotate that second man back into the site, they're going to... Big are going to fully rotate towards A instead and take apartments control. So Dupree, close in the smoke. Deciding to push through. Smooya on the other side, and he's got to be very careful with this one. Smooya attempts a no-scope, but optimistic at that. Now they're going to commit to the push. 20 seconds left. Big need to hurry on up, but they've got themselves a second pick.
Smooya and Tabson finding two between them. It's just Device left. He's got the Mag 7. He's hiding down in pit, but it's not meant to be. Big will be closing out Inferno here. And, just better find that win over Astralis. So they end up splitting the series, which I think, if you are Big, you can't be too disappointed with taking down the best in the world. Yeah,
that's a huge win for Big. Very impressive one, considering, Astralis' streaks on Inferno in the past. So, yeah, very happy if you are Big. And that's the final series done for tonight on EU Pro League.
Yes, indeed. We're going to go ahead and hand this one back over to you two. Trace, Chad, how you guys doing?
He almost said Atlanta. We're not over there, mate.
Yeah,
we're the better league.
A little bit further away from all of that, but nonetheless, congratulations to you two for surviving yet another night of ESL Pro League. And again, a warm happy birthday to Hugo. Yet again, I'm going to have to ask everyone 21. In the chat here to go ahead and come together. I don't know how you're going to do it, but if everyone could just sing happy birthday, but more like type it out. Anyway.
You hear how old he is?
How old are you?
21. He's legal in the States now.
There's a chance for you then. All right, so let's talk about just the barn burner that was this. Astralis and Big going toe-to-toe in Inferno. And as the story is told, it is very clearly put that Big have come out triumphant.
I don't want to say that it felt like Astralis at the end of that first half took their foot off the gas, but when those scrappy rounds happened to get on the board for Big, that's kind of really come back to bite Astralis, right? When you look at this, it's the CT side. It's where you expect them to be very proficient. We talk about their damage. They really should have been able to close this one out, all things considered. But that's when the 10-5, the 11-4 scorelines are very deceiving in that way. But normally it's the other case. It was an 11-4 CT half from Big, and then Astralis turned it around. That's what we expect. In this scenario, it was the other way around, and that comeback was fantastic, considering the only thing working for them in that first half was double AWPs that got them one round and winning the pistol. Boys?
Yeah, I mean,
over to you.
Yeah, I was going to, also, like, you kind of think about it when you see Astralis get on that CT side, that you didn't really get to see a Device on the AWP as much as I think you would have liked, and Smooya was kind of besting him quite a lot as well in a few of those duels. And I don't really know what it felt like was the missing piece of the puzzle, right? I mean, it didn't really feel like a very Astralis CT side, right? We're always believing in these guys normally, but it just felt like they fell a little flat.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that big reset in the second half was a pretty key part of, Astralis' money falling apart. We talked about how, Device pulling in that AWP was going to be an important factor. And the second Astralis actually get money on their CT side, Big come back in with a huge reset, the money gets crushed, and then Astralis just start to fall apart after that.
And was it everything that you could have asked for in your birthday wish when you blew out the cakes?
Oh, yeah, Smooya winning the game. I mean, that's a bit of UK hope.
You got a present. You got a little early treat here early on in EPL Season 8. But the biggest treat is this, the road to Odense. And I'm probably going to butcher it just about 75% of the times that I say it. Either way, that is what we're all here for. The path, the road to Odense. There's a lot going on there, too. It's a tech show, trade show. I think I even heard rumors of a cosplay going on this year. Chad, there's a chance for you there in that.
Did you hear what they're actually going to do? This is some fun content. I was talking to marketing, because, I'm always talking to marketing.
Just kind of ear to the streets.
Yeah. And what they're going to do is you and I are actually going to drive from Copenhagen on the actual road to Odense and make some content.
That's not bad. Now, driving like someone's driving us, or are we renting a car?
Well, we're actually going to rent a car.
Okay.
I don't know which one it's going to be yet. That's still to determine. But this is going to happen. It's just a couple days before. I think we'll spend like 2 days driving. I know it doesn't take that long, but we're going to see the sights on the road to Odense.
Yeah, I think that bridge is about the only site. Either way, the bridge now that we're going to have to do is closing this gap. We do have also need to tell you, sorry, just making a ruckus over here. We're going to have to tell you guys exactly how these servers go down over at ESEA.net. That is where these matches are played on. 128 ticks of pain. And if you're Big, you have inflicted just that on Astralis early on in the season. This will more than benefit them later on down that road. And that road is going to where, boys?
I don't know. You tell us. You're great at the pronunciations.
Odense.
There we go.
God bless them. Anyway, yes, Odense. That's where we're going. Let's talk about some, I believe it'll be upcoming matches coming up tomorrow. And then maybe we can go into a recap of what yesterday was.
Technically, it's tomorrow.
I guess it's today, technically.
Technically tomorrow.
Something about timing and whatnot. Energy versus Ghost, Luminosity, and MIBR. And then rounded out with those boys over in Renegades, who are now in, 4 out of 5 Australian lineup?
I don't want to lie, but they're undefeated. 100% win rate after taking down E United in 2 maps last night. And MIBR, upset loss to them. Ghost Gaming, the boys led by Steel, being toppled. That's some interesting results to kick off the start of this North American season, Trace.
Yes, that is coming up next in match day number 2 for North America. And, well, that almost does it for us here. But, however, we do need to go ahead and get some more knowledge out there for your brains. Use it, all your brain cells here to comprehend what it is, the standings, and perhaps even results of today and how this all affects and shaping up as we look at day number 2. This is how day number 2 shaped up. Woo! We did see a little Mirage action going in the way of North, a little bit of Train in the way of North as well. 16-10 and 16-6 respectively, maybe a little bit of both.
Depends on where you're standing.
Depends on where you're standing. And I guess fast forwarding now, Fnatic and Heroic squaring off Mirage Dust 2 did also, they just barely split maps there, 16-13 for Heroic on Mirage. So let's go ahead and take a look at the big one here, and that's the one on Inferno that we just witnessed, 16-13 going in the way of Big over Astralis. Never thought I would have said it in my days, but I've seen some things.
It's
Hugo?
Yeah, well, sorry, my name's not Hugo.
Yes,
my name's Chad.
He's
so
Hugo.
why are you looking at me like
It's his birthday.
name?
He gets what he wants.
Oh, okay. What do you want?
I want you to tell us what you're about
Jesus
to say.
Christ.
Say.
I was about to say that that's a huge victory for Big. Astralis are still going to make the finals no matter what, but for Big in their road to take one off of the top dog is hugely important. And if you quickly flick over to that secondary stream, you can see the end of Ago probably going to topple the Ninjas in Pajamas on the second map.
Which is a rough one nonetheless. Here are some highlights from this match that was Big and Astralis. Yes, this was not exactly how we expected this one to turn out, but Chad, just watching this game, how did you expect it to go any differently here? What was the turning point?
I'm just going to let it play out here.
Cool, man. Sick. Thanks, Chad.
Sorry, man. I just thought, that the highlights would tell the story, but they weren't as long as I actually thought it was going to be.
I'm going to let this one play out. Anyway, I think we can take a look at the standings. It's only day 2, but this also helps us to recap and tie in what was yesterday's action and today's action here within at least the European division. Hopefully that's what's about to happen. If not, oh, there we go.
You nailed
Boom.
it. Trust yourself.
I did. I trusted myself, but I trusted production even more. North, Big, Heroic, Hellraisers sitting in your top 4 seats. But, guys, as this one starts to unfold, let's talk a little bit about some of these names that off to a little bit slower of a start.
Well, again, we're taking into account we're only on day 2, right? So while these standings look good for some teams like Big and Heroic at the top, I mean, we haven't had a bunch of teams play. Na'Vi haven't played, FaZe haven't played, G2 haven't played, and I think that's a big question mark for a lot of people this season. So you've really got to wait a couple of weeks into the season until every team has played a similar amount of matches before you can put too much stake in the standings at the moment. But yeah, North at the top, they've looked the most impressive to me.
24 games are played by each team respectively, and North have already gone and played 6 or 8. Is it 8? They've played 8 games.
Yeah.
They've played 8 games already, and we're only 2 days into the season. So if you're a North fan, you've really got a lot of games to go back and watch the VODs of, I think.
Yeah, I think that is about the only way you can truly get a hold of the action. But, of course, I'm going to give it over to Hugo to say any last words for your birthday. This won't happen, but maybe once a year. So.
Oh, well, I'm sure I'll be back next year. You never know. I've been on ESL events for 3 years now on my birthday.
I'm saying,
so, final words. Oh, thank you for watching, and thanks for being here, Trace. You really make our day a pleasure.
My God, I could just smell the sarcasm coming through their mouths. Either way, yes, that does it for us. We're going to go into day number 3 tomorrow, and you don't want to miss it. We're coming at you live from the Intel Esports Arena. And, well, with that said, I think it's about night time, huh, Chad?
Good night.
Adios, everyone.